Thank you so much. I sort of feel like I'm at my own memorial after seeing all those old films of me in them. But I'm so happy to be here tonight. I really am. I've just flown in from London, and I'm just so glad to be amongst you all. I've always enjoyed being in Texas. I've made a few films here. And in fact, one of my favorite ever sayings in the whole world is from Texas. I was making this film in Austin, right? And my driver was this lovely lady called Sissy. And the thing with drivers and makeup people is that, you know, they become your confidants because you spend a lot of time with them early in the morning or late at night when you're tired and or emotional. And I was going through, when I was working with Sissy, this rather painful breakup, and poor Sissy had to put up with me moaning and whining all the time about how unfair life and love are. And one day I remember I was starting off on this kind of lovelorn rant by saying, "Oh, Sissy, I wish that blah, 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 blah." And Sissy stopped me and she went, "Alan, if wishes were fishes, we'd all take a swim." Sissy is a very wise woman. And since then, I've been much more selective in what I've wished for. But guess what? One of the things I wished for actually happened this week. And the Senate and the Congress of this country are both controlled by a party that I know respects me and you a little bit more than the previous ones. And I wish that these new senators and congressmen and women will finally step up to the plate and begin the process of what this award I'm receiving tonight is all about. Equality, real equality for you and me. And while I am so grateful for this award and so honored that the Black Tie Dinner Board of Directors thinks that what I have done and strive to do is helping our struggle for respect and equality, I also wish that we don't rest on our laurels and assume that in the light of last week's elections, the road ahead will be a much less rocky one. One of the boys in my play that I'm doing in London right now, because they've got today off, they've got 2 shows off, I've got 2 shows off, but I've come to Dallas. One of the boys said to me, what is this? Oh, there's my look. There's my, it says, "Your silence will not protect you." And also, check this out. Thank you. Anyway, so what I was saying, one of the boys in my play in London said, "So what you know, you're going to Dallas for this award. What is this award for, Alan?" And I said, I sort of thought about it for a minute, and I said, "Oh, it's for being a loud homo." And I think that's what it is for. And I think that we all need to be even louder now, because before this week, all we could do was protest and proclaim the bigotry and hatred that was being propagated. And now we actually have the ear of politicians who are hopefully not afraid of us and will not go out of their way to use us as a political tool. And they won't use us to whip up hatred and therefore votes from sections of society who need to be educated and exposed to us, not encouraged to demonize us even more than they already do. I wish we will all soon be given the rights that any straight person in this country takes for granted. And I know, I know that there are some of you lovely straight people out there tonight in the audience, and I wish you all well, because really some of my best friends are straight. But I ask you all this, to remember this, please. Equality is a right, not a privilege. We need to demand it. We need to demand equality. We need to keep on demanding it until we have it. And we need to keep shouting loudly at any politician who stops us from getting it. I wish I didn't live in a country where the person I choose to spend my life with has rights bestowed upon them dependent on their genitalia. I wish I didn't live in a country where it's still in the back of my mind that even though I love them dearly, I must never piss off my boyfriend's parents in case they won't let me into a room in which he may be dying. I wish I lived in a country where I felt respected, not tolerated, or worse, vilified. And I know I'm on his home turf here, but I'm getting an award for being a loud homo after all, so here goes. George Bush is a hateful man who has made homophobia acceptable in this country. He has openly condoned a blockade on our struggle to be treated as equals, while at the same time, he has cheerfully taken our tax dollars to aid him in his witch hunt against us. He has even managed to turn Democrats against us by making gay marriage the touchstone issue of the last election. I say shame on you, President Bush. Regardless of your politics, as a humanitarian, you have been a disgrace to your office and to this great country, a country which started with equality for all as one of its imperatives. Look at the legacy you're leaving, Mr. Bush. Shame on you! Oh, bless you. Thanks. Yeah, shame on him. The play I'm doing in London right now is called Bent, and it's about how gay people were treated by the Nazis. Not well, as you might imagine. And it's a really powerful play, but it's so galling in what it tells us about the hierarchy that existed in the concentration camps. Pink triangles, and that would be us, were the lowest. Criminals, politicals, and Jews were all treated better. In fact, my character goes to enormous and horrific lengths to pretend to be Jewish in order to get better treatment than he would have received if he had been openly gay. It's a horrible parallel to make, but one that isn't so far-fetched. We are still considered the lowest. We may not be in concentration camps, but we are still prejudiced against. We have all felt the threat of violence in our lives because of our sexuality or our gender, and some of us are still losing our lives because of it. Politicians can change laws and give us our long-deserved equal rights, but they cannot change prejudice. That comes through example and education and love. And it comes through loud, proud homos. Finally, I wish you all the best in everything you're doing in our struggle. And after all those wishes, I think it's time that we took a swim in Lake Equality. Dive in, the water's apparently great. Thank you.